Hello, everyone. I'm ZHAO Chuang. Today, let's draw a Nile crocodile. The Nile crocodile is a large crocodilian, with its body length up to 5 to 6 meters, which is quite big. In addition, its body is also very sturdy and broad. It is lazy normally. When on the shore, it always lies on the ground like this. If you look at it from the top, its body looks very broad, like being flattened. The Nile crocodile's body has very complicate scales, so does its neck. There are two big lumps behind its eyes like horns and many spikes on its tail. Although it seems difficult to draw and very complicated, we still can find some certain rules to follow. Nile crocodiles have evolved its limbs suitable for swimming. Its front feet are relatively small and rear feet longer. On the nail tips of its rear feet, there are some membranes used for paddling, and its front feet become very small with claws at the end. But the rearmost finger has no nail. Its mouth is also very distinctive. When drawing the mouth of the Nile crocodile, notice that it is not just a simply straight line, but with many curves based on certain rules. Good, now let's start to draw this Nile crocodile. The Nile crocodile was relatively flat, and we make a rough composition before we draw it. First, we determine the position of each part of its body. The whole picture is about as wide as this. It's relatively long, so we determine its body size first. When drawing it, don't go out of this range. The Nile crocodile's tail is long, and we draw it being rolled up a little bit. Its body is about this high. We draw this Nile crocodile as it's lying on the ground. Its head is big, and its tail accounts for half the length of its body. Counting the length of the head, the tail is a bit shorter than half the length of the entire body, so we draw the tail this long. Its trunk is about the same length as that of the tail, which is about this long. Let's draw the head roughly this size. The shape of its head is probably flat, and the four legs are here. After sketching the rough positions, we get into drawing the details. First, we determine the position of its head. We'll draw its mouth closed. The head is about this long. Let's draw its lower jaw, which is flat. The corners of its mouth are curved, like a dinosaur's. The shape of its mouth is not a straight line but with many curves. Its mouth curves down like this. There's a notch here, making it into two sections. Like many primitive dinosaurs, the notch on its mouth here helps to catch fish. Its nostrils are probably in this position. The upper part of its nose is slightly raised, and the surface can be drawn uneven. The narrowest part of the mouth is here. Then let's draw its eyes. Its eyes are very close to the top of the head, and they bulge out slightly. Its eyes are small, and we draw a vertical line in the middle as its pupil. It has two raised keratinous structures behind its eyes, below which are its ears. Then, let's draw its teeth. Its front teeth are interlocked, with an upward tooth in each notch. The rest teeth are generally uneven in length and face downward. followed by a series of small teeth. It has some structures on its face, like its cheekbones, that we can highlight, which makes the crocodile look more brutal. There are some bumpy, scale-like structures on its face, and some large soft tissues surrounding its teeth. The nostrils can be shown as two cute little dots, and the nose is upturned here. Now we've finished its head. Let's continue to draw its neck. Its neck is very thick. When it's lying on the ground, the dorsal part of its neck is very high, and at the sides, it is very fat. There are 3 rows of scales on its neck. 1 row here, and another 2 rows here. And the 2 rows are fused into one. It's composed of many grids, with a raised structure in the middle. These structures bulge upward, like some dinosaurs. Next, let's draw its front legs. The shoulders should be in this position. We draw its front legs lying on the ground. And then we draw its fingers. It has 5 fingers, the middle 3 are long, like human beings, and the other 2 are short. The long 3 fingers have nails, while the short 2 don't. There are a lot of banded scales on its body, which we can highlight a little bit. Next, let's draw its hind legs. The hind limbs are also lying on the ground, and the 4 legs are curled up. There are 4 toes on its hind foot, and no nails on the outer toes. We can draw some large scales on its legs. After finishing the front and hind legs, let's draw its rounded belly and its back. We can use this kind of lines to highlight its back, because there are lots of scales on its back. Many modern crocodiles have the large rows of osteoderms on their back. Be careful when drawing these grids. Now let's draw a little shading under its belly, and under its legs to show how the scales continue. Next, let's draw its tail. The tail is very thick, and there are 2 rows of relatively large bulges on the back of the tail, which are formed by osteoderms. The 2 rows merge into 1 row at the end of the tail. The tail is relatively flat at the end and thick at the base. Let's draw some more scales on the sides of the body. On this side of the body, there are 2 rows of relatively large scales, which are a bit like those of Ankylosaurus, with a ridge in the middle. It's lying on the ground, so let's draw some shading close to its body to make it look like it's firmly attached to the ground. Let's highlight the areas with scales, especially the joints. Okay, like this, we've finished drawing this Nile crocodile.